War Room Nation, what's going on? This is Jimmy at JW the Blueprint, or plus Jimmy Williams on Google Plus of War Room Sports. This video, this is our podcast. We've had a podcast for a little over 3 years at this point. It's by far our most popular show, and a lot of people on YouTube don't know that we actually have a podcast, which can be found on iTunes as well as Stitcher and any other podcasting application that you use to listen to your favorite podcast. It's audio only, but I decided to start posting them on YouTube. So this will be pretty much just an audio podcast. This is actually our 177th episode, but we're just going to start posting them from here on out. So it's another way for our listeners to engage with us and listen to what we talk about when we talk about sports. Now, in this episode in particular, we're going to talk about Jameis Winston not being charged, Michael Jordan to be a father again. He knocked up his chick. The Seahawks, how good are they? Are they a Super Bowl team? We're going to talk about Mike Tomlin doing a cha-cha slide, for the Steelers and getting in trouble with it. Jason Kidd dropping his drink. What's going on in the world of baseball? Nick Foles for MVP. We're going to talk about Michael Carter Williams trying to save his bread. Just listen, we're going to get into everything in the world of sports. This is a 2-hour podcast. Again, it's audio only. But, if you want to listen, enjoy. If you have anything to say about any topic we discuss in this podcast, just leave it in the comment section and we will reply. Again, we appreciate all the support with everything. Operation Battle Rap, Operation Big Brother, Inside the War Room, Field Vision, Court Vision. So we just want to keep bringing different types of content to the channel. And this is audio only, but again, we want to put it on the channel to let people know that we also do have a podcast. So appreciate it.
Blog Talk Radio.
Y'all should just be kissing the ring.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dez, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you wanna end a 1 or 2 hour show to get the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level? Bold with the topic, sorta like the rebels when it's game time. They like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th or the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What up, sports fanatics and ladies who only listen to the show because we're sex symbols? What's up to you? Welcome back to another edition of your favorite show. You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports. I'm Devin McMillan, and I'm joined by the hardest-working sports guys in the biz, Jimmy the Blueprint Williams, and B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. All right, we hope your Turkey Day, your Black Friday, your Cyber Monday was all you expected it to be, but it's time to get back to business. We got a great show for you today, so let's get right to it. So before we do, make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports to get into the conversation. You can also call us directly when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline in about 30 minutes. That number is 323-410-0012. Also, make sure you check out our partners, Roy and Chris, on the Broad Street line every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. And check the listings so you can hear Brandon and Daniel on Sports Trap Radio, now on the iHeartRadio network. But don't worry, if you can't catch these guys live, you can hear and watch all of our partner podcasts and webcasts at warroomsports.blogspot.com. In addition, don't forget to catch us in syndication 3 times on Fridays on newviberadio.com. That's 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Sundays and Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on fatsradio.com. Fellas, did y'all camp out in front of Best Buy, or did you camp out in front of your computer on Monday? What y'all do?
Man, I ain't with all that, y'all.
You're like, I don't shop.
Yeah, so our listeners, I camped out in your mom's bedroom.
Whoa.
Damn, slander our listeners like that, though.
He just slandered all of y'all. And how many people just cut their radio off because you talking about their moms? All right, but anyway, man, sad news today, as everybody probably heard by now. Nelson Mandela passed away in his home in Johannesburg. Of course, he was 95 years old. He was battling sickness for the last few months, so it's really not that much of a surprise, but he is an inspirational figure to a lot of people across the globe. So, his passing, even though expected, is a really, really big deal. You guys got anything on that before we get underway?
No, just just rest in peace to Nelson Mandela, man, a great symbol of all that's good in the world with humanity.
Yo, rest in paradise to Nelson Mandela.
No doubt.
And
this might be a crazy sentiment. This might be a crazy sentiment, but you know the movie studio is not too upset about this right now since that movie is about to come out. People will flock.
Did it drop already? I think it dropped.
Or did it drop?
In certain places already.
Either
it just dropped or it's about to drop.
But either way, more people are going to flock to see it now. Yeah, it's a good look for them. Crazy that it's at his expense. So like I said, he was 95, lived a long life, even though they took a big chunk of it from him. But great man. So rest in peace.
I guess the best,
to Nelson Mandela.
The best way to say it, man, is like shout out to at Brandon on Sports Track Radio. He said Mandela lived a long life, achieved great things. You shouldn't be sad. It's time to celebrate his life and his accomplishments, which is true. Doubt. He was 95 years old, like you said. So time to celebrate the man. But anyway, what's good, though?
All right, well, Jimmy, go ahead and tell everybody what happened this week while they were on that post-Turkey Day grind. Post-terrorism day grind. I mean, Turkey Day.
That's right. Yeah, Thanksgiving is a day of terror. Anyway, while you are on the grind, it's brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, which includes the NFL ticket, just go to our website at warroomsports.com. Click on the DirecTV logo and order yourself a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. Everybody likes to hook up. We shall give you the hookup. So if you're looking for DirecTV, or if you're not looking for DirecTV, sign up anyway. WarRoomSports.com, click on the logo. Now, a couple stories that happened this past week while you were on the run. First thing, basketball hero MJ is going to be a father again. He has already shot club up, and his young lady he just wedded. She is El Prego. What do y'all think about MJ shooting the club up after 50?
Well, you kind of knew that he didn't really have a choice because, of course, he's 50, but he married himself a 34-year-old Cuban-American model, and she's young. I'm sure she just wanted to have children anyway, but if you're marrying Michael Jordan, you also want to have an insurance policy. So there was no way Mike, even at 50 years old, was getting out of having a baby. Because I could have swore I heard reports that I don't know why this would have been reported, but I could have swore I've heard one time that Mike had a vasectomy. So he must have had to go reverse that joint because
probably Charles Oakley's
he did.
Yeah, but why do we know that, B. Austin? Why do we know that Michael Jordan had a vasectomy? You think the media might be a little too personal these days? But why?
They're on his sack, literally.
Man, some athletes in different sports are bigger than the sport itself, and Michael is one of those guys. Shout to Nike for making him that way. But at the end of the day, man, that is like TMI. Like, we need to know whether MJ got one or not. But either way, this chick is set.
Exactly.
And shout to that baby that's about to come in the world as part of the Lucky Sperm Club, because your life is set.
Yeah. Not a financial worry in the world. All the other stuff, good luck with that.
Oh, absolutely.
Ever.
At any rate, man.
I wonder how Mike's kids feel.
Because they got a little brother that's 20 years their minor.
That's probably younger than their kids.
Yo, at any rate, let's talk about this story right here. Passengers were bumped from a Delta Flight airline to allow the University of Florida's basketball team to board the plane. Florida's plane, wasn't in good running standards, so they went to Delta. Delta bumped a bunch of people. They got compensated, but it still was during the holiday weekend, and it was an inconvenience. What do you think about what's considered, not a professional league, but a minor league, I guess, bumping a bunch of passengers? How do you feel about
this?
This
is another example.
Minor. I would call it amateur.
This is another example, and you guys out there listening, whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not, this is another example to show you, to confirm that sports is more important than your life. Frankly, like Jimmy said, this was Monday. This was the day that most people were coming home from Thanksgiving trips and, to see their family and stuff like that. So, it was a 50-passenger plane, and they actually, because a college basketball team's charter needed some maintenance, they ended up, because it was originally supposed to be a delay. They were just going to give the Florida Gators the good plane, fix the bad plane, and then put those people on the plane, and the people were only going to Atlanta. Florida was going up to UConn to play. So some people, like Jimmy said, were inconvenienced because they had to drive to other airports in Florida. They were in Gainesville, so they had to drive to, like, Orlando, Tampa, and some of them said it was just less trouble to just go ahead and drive to Atlanta altogether. So this really put people out there, and they got vouchers for free flights and everything, but sometimes that's not worth it, especially you don't know what kind of trip, these people have had and, how anxious they were to get home, and then you got to go through this because they want to get a college basketball team to its game on time. That's kind of crazy.
And they lost the game, by the way. Side note.
Yeah, and then lost.
It definitely does show folks how much more important sports is than their life. And shout out to you two gentlemen for being a part of a sports media and marketing company. So we're a part of that sports world that's more important than most people's lives. And when we're going to do our live remotes, I hope they bump people's flights for us too.
You're out of control right now. But do you think that is actually the sports that's more important, or is that chicken? There's a lot of money on the line, man.
No, it's the money. No, it's definitely the money.
Sports equal chicken. That's the whole thing.
Yo, but here's the thing, man. But now it gets deeper than that. It's sort of like I said on Phil Vision yesterday. It's not even sports, and it's not even, it's the gambling. That game has to go down because gambling runs sports. The easier it is to gamble on the game, the more popular the sport itself is. Football,
I'm like, but they can't. They can't delay a game, postpone a tip time. I mean, I guess with the TV money, that's just not really possible. It's not like back in the day, Jimmy. We roll in the Gustine Lake more than 15 minutes late, they're gonna forfeit us. But they got forfeit rules in college or something. But I understand that TV money is big, so you got to be there when you're supposed to be there.
TV contracts and
man, there was one passenger that even said they missed a funeral because of this. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah, I think some of the passengers probably was exaggerating too, though.
Yeah, probably to get extra vouchers because I guarantee you the person who said they missed a funeral got more than one free flight. Guarantee you that.
Yeah, you know they did because they was trying to hook them up with flights and everything like they do, man. At the end of the day, it all boils down to what I shouldn't say late, but his career is dead. The late, great Randy Moss once said, Joe.
Straight cash, homie.
Mm-hmm. Straight cash, homie. Tell him, Randy. At any rate, security guards lose their job for taking pics with Tom Brady. The Patriots played the Texans at Reliance Stadium. Security guard who claims he was actually off his shift took a picture with Tom Brady. Now, his bosses say that he's supposed to be securing the area and not asking professional athletes for pictures, so his employment was terminated. What do you guys have to say about this, man?
Actually, it was two of them, and I think they were they weren't just security guards; they were top flight security of the world.
Of the world,
of the world, Craig. But the thing is, well, the guy, it was two of them, of course. The guy who said that he was off his shift, he hadn't clocked out yet. So, technically you're not off your shift. And it is company policy. Anyway. I don't want to take up for the company for being petty, but it is company policy that you can't take pictures and get autographs from athletes while you're on the job. However, the second guy who got fired said that is the policy. He says Tom Brady. He said it is the policy, but they never follow it. So my theory on the whole thing is, because this is Houston, this is Reliance Stadium, my theory is, had he been taking a picture with Case Keenum after they won the game, I don't think it would be a problem. I think the company, who are probably filled with Texans fans, are salty because their team stinks this season. So, after another game that you just blew that they thought they had, like the State Farm commercial, you thought you had it. They thought they had it. And then they ended up losing again. And while everybody's walking around upset that their team just lost, these two dudes are over here sweating Tom Brady. That's why they got fired.
Well, here's the thing, Dev. Here's the thing. First off, they fired him right away. soon as he took
he
the
ran up
picture,
on
he
him.
must have posted it. He posted it, and as soon as he did it, the first thing the boy heard was this.
I'm here to tell you, Nino Brown says your services are no longer needed in the community.
Yeah, he was right out of there, man.
Yo,
And
it was a dramatic story, Jim. They said after he did it, he said the supervisor ran him down to tell him he was fired. So somebody snitched. Like, yo, them dudes down here taking photos with Tom Brady.
Stop snitching.
Somebody snitched.
Yo, but here's the thing, though, man. Here, let me give you guys another rule of being a sports fan that people don't realize. Everybody has their favorite teams, right? Regardless of what sport it is, you have your favorite team. So you really don't care about any other team. But certain athletes, because of the way they play the game and their accomplishments, are beyond
should be exempt from punishment.
They transcend that.
They transcend your fandom. So it's like, and Tom Brady's one of those guys, man. Even if you're a tech, that's Tom Brady, man. Like, there's certain guys that have passed that threshold because of the way they play and their accomplishments. So you get a pass for liking them, even though they're not on your favorite team, man.
So basically, Jim, like when Tom Brady's in the building or somebody like that, then the company policy, you should be exempt from the company policy because that's Tom Brady.
There you go.
Like the company policy, you sign it. It says you will be terminated unless it is Tom Brady.
Caveat.
I get it.
If all you Chicago Bulls fans who are acting like Derrick Rose is on that list, I don't know about that check, yo. He ain't reached that level yet. Anyway. Now I'm going to get started.
Not Kenny. You're going to miss like the next 5 years because of his meniscus.
This is true. So I guess instead of having HOF or FOH, we're going to start saying who's exempt from, that. Anyway, let's move on, though. Let's talk about LeBron Raymond James. He's on that list as well. I mean, LeBron is the best player in the league, so he's got to be on that list. But LeBron is continuing to build his portfolio off the court, and now he wants to get into the movie business. So he is making a movie in partnership with Kevin Hart and Heartbeat Productions, and LeBron has his own company. So they're going to work together to do a movie about LeBron. And I don't know if LeBron himself is playing in this. They didn't say, but Kevin Hart's going to star in it, and
yeah, he is.
He'll be going to camp, right? He'll be going to like basketball camp.
Basketball fantasy camp. Kevin Hart is actually going to play his brother, so I guess these guys are going to look like
LeBron isn't
Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito and twins. You know, with you trying to pass them off as brothers. First of all, can I tell y'all how Kevin Hart must be like paranoid of his 15 minutes because he's like Samuel Jackson right now. He's taking every role he could possibly get. I went to see the Best Man Holiday last weekend. I'm not exaggerating when I say 3 of the 4 previews they showed were movies starring Kevin Hart that are all coming out at the same time. Dude is on fire, and I think he's so paranoid that his 15 minutes might be up, you know.
He ain't gonna love him
in a while. He's like, look, I'm doing what I got to do right now. You got a movie for me? So come on. LeBron offered him a movie. He about to take that. Yo, we need to get Kevin Hart in a War Room sports movie. Yeah.
Who cares about Cat Williams right now? For some reason, a lot of comedy, specifically with black comedians, it's like everybody has their time, and it's like it seems like it only can be one at a time for some reason. And I guess the same could be
then you
said
have that certain few that transcends, you know, and goes over the racial lines. Like
there's Tom Brady of comedy.
See, and Kevin Hart, I still think he's black famous, but I think he's teetering right on that line. So, you know, some of these movies, he's doing a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alan Arkin, cats like that. I think he's trying to cross over that line. So once you cross that line, you're good. Eddie Murphy hasn't had a stand-up in like 19,000 years, but he's still just as famous when he walks into a place. You know what I'm saying? He still got the Tom Brady exemption when he walks into a place.
For those who don't know, Devin is an Eddie Murphy stan, so you can't say anything wrong about Eddie Murphy. Like, Dev won't even admit that Dave was terrible. He just loves Eddie Murphy.
No, it's not that. It's not that. You can say anything, and I'll agree, but it won't change my opinion of him. I know Dave is terrible, and I still went to the movies to see it. And I knew it was terrible from the previews, but it's Eddie Murphy, so I got to support it.
Got you. But here's my question, though. How many black comedians...
Hold on.
Black comedians actually have that pass, Dev? When you said it, the first name always comes up, of course, is Eddie Murphy. But who else is really over there? I mean, alive.
I wanted to ask Dave
Chris Rock.
Maybe, but Dave Chappelle's so weird. Like, he doesn't really want to be famous anymore. Chris Rock has transcended that line, and he was on an episode of Kevin Hart's show on Husbands of Hollywood, and he said it as a joke, but they probably wrote it in there because they meant it. He told Kevin Hart, like, you black famous, I'm famous. People. I think Chris Rock is definitely, he's crossed that line.
Yeah.
Maybe not. He may not be way in the backfield, but he's over the line of scrimmage. He's encroaching.
It's not, but when you thought it was really not as many.
You can get an offside
I thought it was a list. I list, and I'm sitting there. I can't really think of it.
No, it's not really a list. It's not really a list.
Really isn't.
Martin,
There's a lot of dudes out there. It's a lot of black comedians that are just black famous.
What about Martin? Where's Martin rank? Is he
Martin
in that list?
I think Martin's. Yeah, he's over the line of scrimmage. Martin is big. He's over the line. But I don't know. I mean, but you still, I don't want to sound because I'm a stan, but you still have to go back to Eddie Murphy for like the biggest example of what we're talking about.
I don't know you want to say that. I already know you want to say that. But I mean, at the end of the day, though, right? At the end of the day, Eddie isn't
actually, I'm gonna make Dev mad. I'm gonna make Dev mad and say that Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby are bigger than Eddie.
You can't make me mad. That's not saying anything. Like Stans are theirs too.
But see,
you can't make me mad with that. Bill Cosby just did another stand-up at 76 years old, and people are he's selling out a tour at 76 years old. Bill Cosby probably is bigger than all them cats.
But hold on, though. But here's the thing, though. When you look at their careers, right? It's like they're all successful at different levels, but Eddie Murphy has like a certain rock star quality that I don't think any comedian has had since him. He does. I mean, no comedian has been like that big of a star since him.
He dropped a reggae album as a joke. It was a joke, and it went flat.
That's not a joke.
He'll tell you
Boy,
it's a joke.
Take this seriously. He got a song called Red Light with Snoop Dogg. Well, Snoop Lion. I'm sorry. But the thing that's his fourth CD. That's his fourth CD, and people only know him from Party All the Time. And when he was on Arsenio, he dropped us a nugget about Party All the Time. He said that was Rick James's second highest record on the charts. It made it up to number 2 behind Lionel Richie Say You Say Me.
You can't question his success.
Jamie Foxx may have that because he turned into a serious actor, so he may have that crossover appeal. But Jamie Foxx, his career, he is Eddie Murphy. With the singing and the movies and all that kind of stuff. So,
but he's taken more serious as a singer than Eddie was.
As an actor,
because Eddie was so big as a comedian, no one really took his singing career that serious. But anyway, we talk about.
Plus, when Eddie sings, he if you look at his videos where he's singing, he makes faces that he makes when he's saying jokes. So you B. Austin thought that was a joke. You don't know if dude is joking or not. So you laugh when it's serious. So
I know by the way it sounds he's joking.
I think because I honestly think Jamie Foxx only did comedy and other things just to sing. Like if you watch his show,
to get on. I agree.
He had it. He had it written in every script and every show. Like I gotta
every show he wanted to be a singer. Yeah. Real quick though, before we finish about the whole movie with LeBron and Kevin James.
Kevin Hart.
It's being directed by Malcolm Lee, who did The Best Man Holiday. And they said this was in the works for a long time. The movie is going to be called Ballers. And of course, LeBron has the sitcom that they're making for I think it's Stars. And Dwayne Wade has nothing to do. Dwayne Wade is also working on a sitcom for Fox called 3 the Hard Way about, surprise, surprise, a basketball player, a single father raising 3
kids
in the NBA. So they're both making stuff loosely based on their lives.
Real quick, gentlemen, let me just say that The Best Man Holiday, I went in and I saw that movie, and I had every intention of hating on it and pooping on it. That was a really
movie,
good,
man. Everybody
really
didn't
good
see it, D.
I'm not giving anything out. It was a really good movie.
But, the first one was good, so I don't really know why people expected it to stink. I mean, sequels do stink sometimes, but what I do need to slow down, because y'all know I'm a film head. I'm not a movie head. I'm a film head. So it was pretty good. It was definitely watchable. I like watching black movies. I can watch them I ain't gonna front. I can watch
That
it
aren't
because
cool.
of black people. However, you know, my film side, like if people are all over social media talking about best movie of the year, slow down. Like, calm down.
Yeah, nah, I wouldn't go
like,
there.
you know, Best Man Holiday
All right,
is not
so
going to get any Oscar
hold on, let me ask
attention
you a question.
or anything like that. So
Well,
calm down.
Well, I gotta say two things real quick. The first Best Man was a good movie. I mean, it ranks up there in terms of like the top of what we consider African American films. Because I Hate the Wood, that was the worst movie, and that has nothing to do with this conversation. I just like slandering that movie every time I can because I can't stand it. But what do you think is?
I like the Wood for some reason, man. I hate Brothers.
I am not a fan of that.
Wood.
Yo, but here's the thing, Jeff, I like Brothers for some reason.
I don't like the Wood.
So here's my question though. What's the pause on that one? Yeah. What's the best movie of the year in your opinion?
The best movie of the year? I don't know. I probably haven't seen it
right
yet.
Now.
Because now that I have a 2-year-old, once the nominations come out, we cram, so we can see everything before then. But
what's the best movie?
I'm sure I haven't seen the best movie. I don't even remember what I've seen. I don't remember what I've seen this year. Seriously, it's that crazy right now. Because we don't seriously, Jim. You know how we used to do, man. We used to go to the movies twice a week. Now we go to the movies probably twice, every 6 months.
Quarter.
So it's like when we do go out, we'd be so happy that we got to go out that we don't even remember what we did when we went out. We just.
Yo, by the way, in our chat room, LaRon McConnell says he thinks the movie of the year is 12 Years a Slave. So I just want to put that.
I haven't seen that yet, but I heard that's probably true. Because they had some big boasts when the previews say this is one of the best movies of all time. I'm like, damn, that's some big words to live up to.
Yeah. And the dude that's the lead actor in it, I can't pronounce his name, but he's underrated.
Chiwetel Chidiki.
Yeah.
I just made that up.
I can't pronounce his name, but he's underrated.
Yo, he is
Chiwetel Chidiki. From now on the War Room, he's known as Chiwetel Chidiki.
Because he co-starred in American Gangster with Denzel, and he's a better actor than Denzel. Oh, my bad.
Whoa, Denzel slander. We go from Eddie Murphy love to Denzel slander, yo. What's poppin', man? What's wrong with Denzel, yo?
These are consistent themes.
Damn. You got to show him that you're just not completely African American bias. You love some brothers and some of them that is overrated, right?
Yes, I mean Denzel's good, but Denzel is Denzel in every film he does. Like you can't go in there and be Frank Lucas, a functional illiterate who talk like he got a frog in his mouth and sound all.
Well,
cool.
Here's the question though. What do you think about Robert De Niro? Because Robert De Niro is the same person in every movie too.
Yo, Robert De Niro's a comedian now. What's up with that?
Yo, but he's still the same person though. He's still Jimmy Conway. He's just trying to be funny.
He's a gangster, whether it's a funny movie.
That's what I'm saying, man. And it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. I was watching.
I think what's his name is better than De Niro. I think Pacino is better than De Niro.
Oh, that's a debatable one. That could be a versus. But listen though, here's the thing, right? I was watching Fast and Furious. Rest in peace to Paul Walker, by the way. And I was laughing because I was thinking about it. I was thinking about, Tyrese is now an actor, and he plays the same role in everything. He's the same person in Baby Boy that he is in Transformers. That he is. That he is in Fast and Furious.
Fighting robots from outer space. Jody Joe, she's that robot.
But listen, though, I started thinking about it. There's a lot of actors that have successful careers that literally play the same. There's not too many like Johnny Depp or guys that are just great at playing different characters.
Here's a question. Is Samuel L. Jackson the same? Is he typecast? Is he the same person?
Nah,
he might be.
Way too many. I don't know. Well, he screams
but what I'm saying
everything.
Is he plays different characters, but there's still like something. They're the
but
same
he does
person,
the same thing with him. Yeah.
Same thing with every character.
Yo, he was Jules
that's why you
Verne when
need
he was
those
playing
weirdos,
the Shaq,
man. The weirdos are the best actors because they get they get too far into their role, to where they all depressed and stuff afterwards. Kind of like Heath Ledger with the Joker. And
Heath Ledger.
dudes from British people are way better actors than Americans. I'm gonna put that out there now.
Yo, by the way, somebody in the chat room just said Brad Pitt plays the same person. I could say Tom Cruise plays the same person. But hold on, though. Here's the thing.
I think Brad Pitt is
Tom
underrated.
Cruise
I think Brad Pitt is a little underrated.
Tom Cruise does play the same person, and Brad Pitt is a little bit diverse. He doesn't play the same person.
I think Brad Pitt spent so much of his career being a quote-unquote sex symbol to the ladies that people overlooked his acting ability. And I know the people who tune in to hear us talk sports is like, what the hell is going on right now? But this is what we do.
What, Dev? You caught it right on the head with the Brad Pitt statement.
Whoa.
People are upset. Paul, people are upset because people are upset because he's good looking and he's a sex symbol, and then they knock him.
No
as an
home
actor.
meal. But here's the thing, bro. I just want to make one more statement, yo, because you said the underrated actor. The most underrated actor in Hollywood, yo, is Jeffrey Wright. Because that dude is sick with it, yo.
And then Don Cheadle.
Now he's going. Don Cheadle is dope.
He's getting his props now. He's getting his props. Yo, Don Cheadle is getting his props, but as long as people still acting like Denzel is one of the best out there, I'm just going to take that as a slight to Don Cheadle. Period.
Yeah,
Damn.
Forrest Whitaker's eye is nice too. Forrest Whitaker's eye is on.
But that's the thing. Forrest Whitaker looks different. Like he can act his ass off.
Yo, Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright. He played Basquiat. Now he's a good Libyan brother on Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah. Forrest Whitaker's eye is typecasting him.
Yeah.
You can't do too much with him how he looks like. You can't do too much with his look.
By the way, in our chat room, they said Don Cheadle was disrespected because his name's not even on the credits at Ocean's 11. He's in the movie.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so let's do these birthday shout-outs real quick, man. Of course, birthdays are brought to you by Dr. Monique Roll of Alexandria Podiatry Associates for the best and comprehensive treatment of injuries to the foot, ankle, and lower extremities. Visit Dr. Monique Roll of Alexandria Podiatry Associates, treating patients in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area and beyond. So just visit alexandriapodiatry.org or call 703-379-0700 and make sure you tell them War Room Sports sent you. All right, we want to give some quick birthday shout-outs. Josh Smith, NBA baller, turns 28 today. Shout-out to another NBA baller or former NBA baller or never really was NBA baller or, never mind, Eddie Curry turns 31 today. NBA champion Eddie Curry turns 31 today. We want to give a birthday shout-out to Art Monk, Hall of Fame wide receiver, who turns 56. And a shout-out to Jim Plunkett, quarterback, 66 years old. We'd like to give a big, nice War Room salute to all of these gentlemen on their birthdays, and we wish you guys many, many more.
My birthday, yay!
What y'all can do right now is check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report. That's our weekly newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send a message about our company, our show, to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities. For general inquiries, email us at info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the Memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the Blog tab to read our latest articles in the All Sphere and Sports and War blog. Then click the respective icons to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our iTunes podcast, download our free War Room Sports mobile app, and to watch our videos at warroomsportstv.com. Join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to do that, just sign in through your Facebook or Twitter accounts. And while you're at it, click follow to get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. To call in and speak with us directly, dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk, and the hotline is open now. But let's get into some hot topics real quick. Jimmy, hot topics are brought to you by
Audible. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audio books and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. All you have to do is visit Audible. Here's how you do it. audibletrial.com/warroomsports. You can get a free book by signing up for the trial. Listen, everybody knows that we have a lot of sponsors and partners of our show, but everybody also knows that Audible is my favorite because I am an Audible stan. If you follow me on social media, you know I'm always talking about my books I'm reading. Just finished the Mike Tyson book. That is the single best piece of entertainment I've consumed in the last 10 years. Yo, hilarious.
And check our website tomorrow for his for Jimmy's review on that book.
Absolutely, because I wrote a quick review about the book, not a long one, but just a quick one to give you an idea of my thoughts of the book. But audibletrial.com/WarRoomSports. Get your free book. Try the Tyson book. Or you can try a lot of other sports books. Dr. J's books up there, Shaq's books up there. A lot of great sports books as well as other entertainment. So take a look at it.
Or the Mandela book. Check out the book before you go see the movie. I don't know, that book big as hell, so you might not be able to finish that before you go see the movie. But you might. Like Jimmy said, if you listen to it on Audible, you can do it while you're doing a whole lot of other things. So, it is possible to go ahead and check that out. All right, real quick, just going to, we're not going to talk much about it. We're just going to let you guys know what's been happening on that MLB hot stove this week. There's been a couple of big signings, big trade, some news about who's in the market for whom. Jacoby Ellsbury, former outfielder for the Boston Red Sox, agreed to a contract with the New York Yankees. Now, when you say New York Yankees, the contract is off the hook. 7 years, $153 million for the 30-year-old outfielder, and it has an option for an eighth year that could take the contract to $169 million. Now, this deal is higher than Carl Crawford's 7-year, $142 million contract that he signed with the Red Sox back in 2010. Real quick, I just want to get you guys' opinion. Did they overpay for Jacoby Ellsbury? And I'm sure.
Here's the thing. Is that the market? I would probably say they still kind of overpaid, even though the market is inflated at this point. So shout out to Wallace Wade, who hit us up on Facebook about this and was saying that when you really think about it,
absolutely they overpaid.
He's not even the number one option, but he's also making more than every NFL player.
He's not a top 10 player in baseball.
Let me ask this, and you gentlemen both are MLB fans. Is he better than McCutchen? Because they kind of do the same thing.
But Pittsburgh don't have this kind of. See, McCutchen's situation was a little different though. He still will become a free agent, and some years down the road. I think with McCutchen it was like they bought him out of arbitration or something like that. Like he doesn't have to go to arbitration year after year, so his contract, of course, is not like this. But Jimmy said what the market is with the Yankees. The Yankees don't really abide by the market. The Yankees usually make the market because I don't think anybody was offering Jacoby Ellsbury $153 million. But at the same time, he got it. But the funny thing about it is he's like the fourth highest free agent signing in Yankees history. We talk about them, and you would think this is just status quo, which it kind of is. But you wouldn't think that Ellsbury would be up there. Of course, A-Rod's number one, 10 years, $275 million. Teixeira, they gave him 8 years, $180 million. CC Sabathia, 7 years, $161, and then comes Ellsbury at 7 years, $153. And of course, right under him,
shout out to Robinson
Giambi contract back in 2001, 7 years for $120 million. So. A lot of dough, a lot of dough being spent in New York, but that's nothing new. And like B. Austin just said, shout out to Robinson Cano. The Seattle Mariners have emerged as serious players, and potentially getting his services. So we'll see how that works out. There's a lot of sentiment out there that the Yankees will keep him, but then a lot of people are also thinking that this Jacoby Ellsbury deal probably sealed Robinson Cano's fate in New York. What do you guys think about that?
I absolutely agree with that because the price, the asking price, while I don't think it's a serious asking price, it's serious enough to where he's saying, okay, I'm going to ask for 305 so they understand.
Ain't nobody giving him no damn
305. Well, what he's saying is so they know that I need more than 200. So I think that's absolutely the case. And let me also lean on you guys.
But I don't even take that asking price serious enough to repeat it. Like he ain't getting that money.
Yeah, 31 years old. I realize that, but I don't think he's going to end up in the 150s, 140s, 160s. I think he's going to get an astronomical astronomical numbers. Somebody's going to pay him something stupid and ridiculous. Is it the TV contracts? The teams with the most valuable TV contracts seem to be the teams that load up on these dumb contracts because maybe they're not that dumb because of the TV revenue.
See, and that's another thing where everybody's thinking that this deal has sealed Cano's fate. These are the Yankees, and there's no salary cap, so it's not a guarantee that they're not going to, go after their own player just because they signed this guy. And by the way, Cano's asking price has already dropped by $50 million. So he's asking for $260 over 9 years. His initial asking price was $310 over 10 years. Like, seriously, why does Robinson Cano think he's that good? Like, was this
JJ? I blame Camel.
He was tripping. He tripping. I guess look, y'all gave A-Rod all that money, and I'm producing more than him, so.
He's practicing the secret, man. He's gonna put it out there, and it's gonna happen for him, man. Don't even worry about it, man.
Yeah. I just don't look at Robinson Cano even being that popular of a player to demand that kind of money. Like, I don't get it. But hey,
is he better than Jacoby Ellsbury?
Yeah, Jacoby Ellsbury is not even a home run hitter, so it's kind of.
So if he can get 7 years and
you don't see non-home run hitters getting paid $153 million. So he might go ahead and get his $310.
That's what I'm saying. That's the market. Gotta love baseball,
Chicks dig the long ball.
Yo, everybody out there, take them basketballs out your son's hands. Take them basketballs out your son's hands. Get him a baseball bat.
That is one thing. Exactly. That's one thing, Jimmy, that this Ellsbury deal has done for me. It solidified my love for the game, which means, y'all going to see a lot of photos of my son holding baseball bats and gloves and, chewing on some big league chew.
Man, baseball players are making $153 million, and football players don't even know where they are.
Yo.
So, I mean,
baseball players don't even have to exercise.
They're not even,
most of them.
Yo, the funny thing is, don't even look at the big contracts. You can look at small contracts. You'll see in the news, in the media lines, like dudes that you're like, yo, you live next door to me. You just happen to play baseball. How are you getting $10 million?
Listen, man. Listen, they got it made, man. And they don't have to worry about CTE. Football players retired don't even know what year it is. Like, and these dudes are getting paid, man. So shout everybody. Go ahead, Dad.
All right, so no, I'm saying because we got a caller on the line and we got college expert Fred Perdue waiting. But real quick, the last big news of the week is the Washington Nationals actually acquired lefty Doug Fister from the Detroit Tigers. They sent Steve Lombardozzi and Ian Kroll and a minor league left-hander Robbie Ray to the Tigers. So they got another stud in that rotation and didn't have to give up too much to get him. Fister is 29 years old. He was 14-9 last year with a 3.6 ERA, which was his third year with the Tigers. He was tied for the American League in getting batters to hit in the double plays, and he allowed 0.6 home runs per 9 innings. This, throw him in there with Strasburg and Gio Gonzalez and Jordan Zimmerman, and a lot of people are saying that the Nats have the best rotation in baseball now. But a lot of people said that last year. And not that their rotation disappointed, but, the team overall had trouble scoring runs. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to say the best rotation in baseball. I'll get that opinion from Casey Mack in the chat room. You think the Nationals got the best rotation in baseball? Let us know in the chat room, Casey Mack. So real quick, before we get to Fred Perdue of Heavy in the Games, we're going to go to the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. We got Tobias out in Phoenix. Alabama fan, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
All right. Roll Tide. I know you're disappointed in that whole Iron Bowl thing.
Hey.
What's up, man? What you want to talk about?
I'm pulling for Missouri this weekend, for the record. Honey's being real. Yes, I'm a hater. Screw the SEC streak. I want Missouri to win. But, you know, that's just one of those things where it's like when it's their year, it's their year, you know. Nothing. Who in the world could have predicted that, except we got the same sorry kicker? Hey, they missed opportunities. Hey, it happened. Auburn had a good game. Alabama didn't play a good one. Hey, they won the game.
I don't know if you line a freshman up for a 57-yard field goal.
No,
I know you were. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like
how did you feel when you were watching that? Did you throw anything? Did you break your TV? Like,
well, I did have to go back to Cox Communications and get a new remote control. I blocked the guy on Facebook. He kept putting memes on my wall 4 days straight, man. Like, come on, man.
yeah.
But
so you can't do that to a diehard. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. I know before you guys get to your guest. All right, I'm a Bulls fan.
How do you feel about Nick Saban and his decision making towards the end of that game?
You can't question Nick Saban, man. The dude just won like 2 chips.
Well, I didn't like some of it. I felt like that he didn't put the ball in his fifth-year senior quarterback hands at the end of that game. If Auburn's selling out against that run up the middle, do a play action. Let them throw or something, you know, one time at least. And that's all criticism I have.
I personally wouldn't line up for the field goal, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, risk reward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so I know we know you're a Bulls fan, so we know you got something to say about them real quick. So go ahead and get that off before we get you out of here.
Hey, first I hope we cover the spread tonight at least, but let's see. I know Derrick Rose been hurt, but everybody's looking at him. The problem is that front office, the Jordan days where you build around one person. And I believe it's that conservative philosophy that is the problem. Because, because people hate the Heat, for example, but you can't double team LeBron James on that team. You're going to leave somebody who can hit a shot wide open or get their shot. So I think they have to, not saying blow the team up, but you got to be aggressive in that trade.
No, y'all got to blow that up. Y'all got to blow that up. Y'all got to blow that up. Because here's the thing, right? And first off, even in the Jordan days, I wouldn't even necessarily consider them building that team for one person. Because remember, when Mike wasn't there, they got cheated. They should have been in the finals again if they didn't get cheated on that Hubert Davis call. Yeah. That's a whole other story. But in terms of the Bulls, watching your team play is brutal because y'all offense, y'all
it's terrible. It's
terrible.
Put it like this.
Terrible.
You thought I was drunk a lot watching Alabama lose that game? Watching the Bulls play offense will drive you to drink. I'm being honest with you.
Terrible.
Before I go, see, that's the Bulls show. I'm a fan, so I'm being honest. The most underrated trait in the NBA is the ability to get your own shot and get them for others. You have to have multiple people who can get your shot, their own shot, and get them for others. But thanks, guys. I had to call in and eat crow.
No, always. No doubt.
All right.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, peace, man.
All right, let's the Jameis Winston decision from the state's attorney came down, so let's get Fred Perdue of HeavyInTheGames.com on the line with us, so we could talk about that and a couple other college football topics for the week and his games of the week. Fred, are you there?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Pretty good, brother. How you?
Man,
it's a busy time for you right now. Busy
definitely,
day.
Definitely. Can I just say R.I.P. to that guy's his remote control?
Right, did some serious damage to that joint. All right, so let's get right into it. First of all, what are your opinions on how that game ended, the Iron Bowl?
I have never questioned Nick Saban ever, and Nick Saban, I've been a fan of Nick Saban going back into his Michigan State days. I've never questioned him ever until last Saturday night when I saw a freshman kicker that he said was knocking 60-yard field goals in practice. I know y'all got the Allen Iverson.
With no defense.
We talking about practice. We're not talking about the game if y'all don't have it. We talking about
not the game. Not the game.
We talking about practice. In a game,
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Practice, man. I mean, how silly is that?
How silly is that, Saban?
Exactly. In a game that with the just pretty much your whole season is on the line right there. I am not putting my freshman kicker who has never made a game-winning kick like that. Most NFL kickers can't make those kind of kicks. And you
see, now, is this hindsight? Because, was everybody questioning him when he rolled them out there? Because I don't really think it was about him missing the kick. It was about him not getting the leg on it. I'm pretty sure he thought even if there was a chance he was going to miss, he was at least going to get it past the upright so there wasn't a return. That was where the problem came in.
I questioned him going into the kick when they called the timeout to ice the kicker. I'm like, what are you doing? Throw the Hail Mary. If
he would have nailed that kick, y'all been kissing Nick Saban's ass.
If you have a penalty, you get another shot at it. And if you get another shot at it, then you kick the field goal. But you don't kick a 57-yard field goal with a freshman kicker. I don't like leaving
Man, he thought he had Janikowski out there.
I don't think Janikowski makes that. Remember, this is college football. Florida State kickers don't make pressure field goals. So we're not throwing Janikowski.
And it was a tie game, right?
Yes, it was a tie game.
So I was like, I don't understand what all this. I don't know. It seemed like a lot of urgency in that situation, where if you throw the Hail Mary and you don't get it, you still.
I understand.
They were trying to like, we play any more minutes.
I understand the logic because in overtime you don't want your kicker that has already missed 2 kicks is really going back. He's already regressed back to those demons that he had against LSU a few years back. You don't want him in overtime. And in overtime, we all know how the kicker is very important. Ask Missouri. Right now, they could be easily undefeated and talking about being in a national championship game and not having to possibly have to worry about beating Auburn to get in. They would automatically be in had their kicker not bounced it off the goalpost against South Carolina. So kickers are important.
But Alabama, boo-hoo. Like they win all the time. I don't think a lot of people out there feel sorry for him at this point. What is your opinion on Marcus Mariota deciding to stay in school? What impact do you think that's going to have on the NFL draft, and what impact might it have, his draft stock going into next season? How much higher can he go?
I'm very happy he went back to school. I saw a lot of chinks in the armor this year, not reading the field the way I thought he would. He's a one-read-and-go kind of guy still. Very athletic. He's not your typical Oregon Ducks quarterback. He's not Dennis Dixon. He's not Jeremiah Masoli. He's not any of those guys. He is an NFL talented type quarterback, but he needs another year to go back and be able to learn the offense and still come in and learn defenses. And when you see games against Arizona where they're just attacking, and he doesn't adjust, you have to be able to do that once you get to the NFL. That is the difference between a guy like a Johnny Manziel who can go to the NFL right now coming out of a spread offense where he can make those checks and the reads at the line, and in an Oregon offense where it's not necessarily based on the zone read, but it's a lot of quick decisions. He's not making those quick decisions.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. Well, do you think this will affect his chance of winning the Heisman? Because I feel like sometimes when guys say they're coming back, the voters say, well,
I don't think it hurt his chances, but when you have a guy who we'll be talking about in a minute, and Jameis Winston coming back as well, Johnny Manziel was very close to possibly winning it again this year. And if all signs are clear, Jameis Winston, and we don't have any other issues, he'll be the front runner next year. So that's really going to be the problem for him. You're in an offense that, just like the other schools that run these high-powered offenses, the Bryce Pettys at Baylor, the former Texas Tech quarterback where you can just plug and play, a guy's going to put up big numbers, but they don't win a lot of games. And the Heisman Trophy has had the definition of that award is the best overall player in college football. Well, that award kind of changed a bit because it's the best overall player on the best team. And Oregon won't ever be the best team in the country because they're always going to lose those one or two games to Stanford or some other team that they're not supposed to lose to.
Choke jobs. Did you just call them choke jobs? All right.
Shots fired.
Sarkisian was hired, from Washington to coach USC. Coach O is very upset about it. They offered him a place in the organization, and he just up and quit. He's not even coaching out the rest of the season. He's so upset. Do you think this was the right move, or do you think they should have gave Orgeron a chance?
This is how I look at it. With Sarkisian, a guy that they can kind of reach back into the Pete Carroll days, the philosophy is still there. Coach Orgeron is a good coach. He's a good O-line coach. He's a great recruiter. And that is worth something, but you got to get the best choice. Coach Sarkisian went into a Washington team that was completely decimated by Tyrone Willingham, who decimated not one, not two, I'm doing the LeBron, yes, but 3 teams. Not one, not two, but 3 in UCLA, Washington, and Notre Dame. How in the world do you decimate 3 teams? We don't know. But when you have a guy like Tyrone Willingham who completely cut off all connections in the state of California as far as recruiting in the schools like Cal Poly and other schools like that, where Sarkisian has to really just rebuild this team from being a 2-win team to a 5-win team to a 6-win team to now they're winning games. And they're putting guys in the NFL again. This team used to be very good. They used to be very, very good. And now he's gotten them back to being respectable. Coach O, yeah, you're the rah-rah guy, but you're not really – you're the guy that everyone likes right now. He's the hot new toy, but he's not really what you want 5 years from now.
Okay. All right, so what's your opinion on this whole the Jameis Winston thing, state's attorney basically dropping the charges because they were going to have a hard time proving that what this young lady was saying was true? What's your thoughts on the do you think that's, first of all, do you think it's legit, or do you just think it had something to do with him being a high-profile athlete in a big-money game?
I had a lot to say about this when it first came out. I just believe football is being put above a person's well-being. Obviously, none of us were actually there, so we don't know all of the details no matter what happens. Even those investigating don't have exactly every detail. But when you have a situation like this where you have a guy who is a high-profile athlete, just like in every other situation, the high-profile athlete gets out of the situation, a la Kobe Bryant, Big Ben Roethlisberger, and the kids at Steubenville High School up in Ohio, those guys as well. You just have these high-profile athletes, whatever level it is, their sport or the sports comes before what's right. And if Jameis Winston, and I said this earlier, if Jameis Winston was Jameis Smith playing for Northern Illinois, would it really matter? Because he's not in the national title game, he's not up for a Heisman. Would it really matter? Would we charge him still? Ultimately, college football is better with Florida State winning. Teams like Florida State, Miami, Washington, those big powerhouse names that we all grew up loving. When those teams are great, that's what you want, and it's great for college football. So I wasn't surprised that it happened, but at the same time, I don't think it's right. I think that it should have been a lot of things done differently, and it was a lot of fishy things going on with that as well.
Do you think there was some investment into the justice system infrastructure?
All I have to say is when a detective tells the victim, you might not want to say anything because this is a big football town, and you will have you basically your life's going to be quote unquote hell if you say something. That's a problem for me, especially in the state capital. And I live in the state of Florida. I briefly went to Florida State as well. I've stayed. That is it's a very good town. Don't get me wrong. But when you have a situation like that and your justice system is doing this, that's a problem for me.
No doubt. All right, well, give us your games of the week. Before we get you out of here, give us your games of the week.
Guys, we have conference championship week. Make it easy for you. We have the AAC. We have Louisville going up against Cincinnati. Give me Louisville. Teddy Bridgewater goes out with a bang. Florida State Duke ACC title game. This game isn't close. I just think Florida State has too much firepower. Duke, yeah, they've won 10 games. This is the best they've ever been, but I just don't see it happening. Bowling Green, Northern Illinois, MAC championship. Northern Illinois, they've had a lot of luck this year, but I think Bowling Green comes out in a squeaker. The big boy games we have, the Pac-12 championship, give me Stanford, 31-28 against Arizona State. And it's going to be close. I like Stanford, their physical style. That's really what's going to put them over the top. Big Ten championship gives me Ohio State, 31-28. I think Ohio State has a lot of issues on defense, but I think they have a quarterback in Braxton Miller who will make a lot of big plays for them. Michigan State, I think they're going to produce a lot of offense. Ohio State gave up 600 yards of total offense against Michigan last week, and Michigan's not a great team. So Michigan State's going to have to live on their defense. Connor Cooks is going to have to make a lot of big-time throws. But in the end, Ohio State goes on to the national title behind Braxton Miller, and Urban Meyer gets another shot at it. And you know the feature game. You know what it is. The SEC title. It's the biggest game of the year. You have Missouri going up against Auburn. And for your caller who called previously, Missouri, they're not winning. The luck has run out. Give me Auburn. Leads the nation in rushing yardage, 320 yards a game. I like Nick Marshall and this Auburn team. If you could, they really did hand it to Alabama. I like what I saw from Alabama on defense, but Alabama always struggles with dual threat quarterbacks. The player I really like to see in this game is Trey Mason, running back Auburn. On the other side of the ball, Michael Sam, defensive end from Missouri. He's just a stud defensive end. Really like what I see from them. But the real difference in this game, I think Nick Marshall makes some big passes in this game, and they secure it, 33-31.
All right, man. As usual, thanks for everything that you do for us on the college side. We'll be looking forward to checking out all of those games that you just laid out there for us. Fred, before you go, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you on Twitter.
You guys can reach me at Heavy in the Games, HeavyInDaGames, or you can reach me on Twitter at FPurdueSports. I'll be on college football all weekend. Can't wait. Looking forward to Louisville tonight.
All right. Well, we'll see you Wednesday for some NFL talk, and then we'll see you right back here next Thursday to see what's going on in college football again. All right. Thanks, brother.
You're welcome, guys. Talk to you later.
All right. All right. Fred Purdue, everybody. Heavy in the games. Dropping that college football knowledge. Jimmy, it's that time. Let's talk some NBA basketball real quick.
It's definitely time to talk NBA. Excuse me, because I got distracted for a minute because I just saw a tweet that let me read this tweet to you before I tell you about the NBA, yo. And this better be fake, yo. This from Paris Hilton. It says, R.I.P. Nelson Mandela. Your I Have a Dream speech was so inspiring. You're an amazing man. So I hope that somebody hacked their account.
Shout out to Paris, yo.
Anyway, man.
Did she really say that?
I'd like to explain something. I ain't punchy. I got what you call, a relaxed brain, but I ain't punchy, It's just...
Listen, man, I'm hoping that she was hacked or that's fake or something, because, I can't right now, yo. But anyway, let me get myself together so we can talk some hoops, man. It's time to talk about the NBA. The NBA Wrap is brought to you by Fanatics. For the best in your favorite team's merchandise and apparel, shop at Fanatics. Go to WarrenSports.com and look for the Fanatics logo and, go cop up. Get you some NFL, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball gear. Some MMA T-shirts, whatever you want, you can find at Fanatics. At any rate, let's talk about the Players of the Month in the National Basketball Association.
All right. Players of the Month.
Players of the Month for the month of November.
That would be in the Eastern Conference, Paul George, and in the Western Conference, Kevin Durant. Paul George led the Pacers, of course, to a league-best 15-1 record. He scored double figures in all 16 outings. That's easy because he scored 23.6 points per game, 2.1 steals per game, and, supplementing that with 6 rebounds and 3.3 assists. Paul George, we keep saying it every time we bring him up, but, he's an emerging superstar in this league. So, the stuff that he's doing now, we can't continue to be surprised. He's playing at a very high level. But Kevin Durant guided the Thunder to an 11-3 mark to start the season. They're 8-0 at home. He's averaging 28.3 points per game. He's had 6 30-plus games already and had 42 in a win over the Jazz back on October 30th. That was like first, second night of the league. So, Durant averaging 28.3, that's not really that much of a shock to anybody because that's what he does. He scores. So shout out to Paul George and Kevin Durant for getting that NBA Player of the Month award. Now we got the Players of the Week, LeBron James and again Kevin Durant. LeBron led the Heat to a 4-0 week, 29 points per game, shot 60% from the field, 46.7% from three-point land, and he scored at least 25 points in all 4 games, averaging 6 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 1.5 steals. Durant led the Thunder to another 3 victories in 3 games. He was second in the conference in scoring at 27 per, 12 rebounds, 7 assists per game. He had a couple of monster games this week. You know what's surprising me, though, about LeBron this year? Because he is balling, steady as he goes, steady the ship, but his rebounding and assist numbers aren't what they usually are, on most weeks. His points per game are right up there where they usually are, but I wonder what's going on with that, because a lot of people were thinking as his career went on, he was going to get closer to that Oscar Robertson
triple-double.
Robertson feat of averaging a triple-double or at least close to it. And, I'm surprised to see that on a lot of these weeks, Kevin Durant is actually doing more on the rebound and assist tip than LeBron is. But shout out to those guys. 2 best players in the league.
Looks like LeBron's not even going full speed.
Yeah, he's probably not.
Yeah.
They know how. After you've won 2 in a row, you kind of know the ebb and flow of the season. So at this point, it's like, first of all, the Eastern Conference absolutely stinks. So there's no reason for LeBron or the Heat to go hard every night, and they can still win games every night without going hard every night. So, they might be in semi-shutdown mode until it really counts.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just going to try to win 12 chips. I don't even care about numbers no more.
He is definitely on chill mode most nights, but the scary thing about that is I didn't want the dude to shoot 46% 3, man. His jump shot is getting to a point where it's scary, man. Like, you can't be that big and that talented and shoot that well from the field.
And plus going back to last season, LeBron's no longer taking just silly threes for no reason. He's picking and choosing his spots on the shot. So, it's a higher percentage shot because he's not just launching stupid shots. So, I saw him pass up a lot of threes in the last year and a half.
You know what else he's doing? He's getting a turnaround, man. He's getting a turnaround for that's really going to be a problem.
The dude's game is getting better, man. He's finally gotten it. To the point where he knows, if you want to be, what you want to be when it's all said and done and you want to continue with your brand and be this icon, you have to work on the court. And a lot of things that, we criticize LeBron for that wouldn't get better when people were already anointing him, it's starting to get crazy now. The dude is nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's getting it. I have to admit, he's getting it.
What else is going on, Jim?
Listen, man, outside of the Players of the Month and Week, the big story is Jason Kidd fined $50,000 for what they're calling Cupgate. Jason Kidd and his hit me. And they show it in slow motion. It's so hilarious. Hit me.
Yeah. We spoke about Cupgate last week, so I don't have anything left to say on that. I can just say, if coaches are going to interfere in the games, and we'll talk about Mike Tomlin a little bit later because we didn't address that last week because it happened after the show. I'm not surprised at the fine, so I'm not mad at it or anything like that.
Yo.
How about this story?
Oh, go ahead.
We've talked about how Jason Kidd really didn't do anything in terms of coaching since this season started. In fact, he wasn't even calling plays. Now, a guy who was calling a lot of those plays was his top assistant, who was Lawrence Frank, who just got demoted by Jason Kidd. What do you think about this move on Jason Kidd's move?
What makes this bad is that Jason Kidd lobbied for Lawrence Frank, and then the Nets and Billy King, in his infinite wisdom. For those of you who don't know who Billy King is, Billy King has infinite wisdom. Signed Lawrence Frank to make him the highest paid assistant coach maybe ever at $1 million a season. And so now he's been demoted to doing reports. He does reports.
He does player reports. He's basically
paying him
$1
million.
He's basically a scout now.
He's paying him $1 million to scout and do reports.
And have a 6-year contract.
This is getting bad real fast, and I might want to amend my take on where I think the Nets can end up just because of dysfunction in the coaching staff.
Listen, though, before you give your opinion, I took this a little different. I think that it's kind of I don't want to say a good move on Kidd's behalf, but I think he feels as if it's sort of like a power struggle on the team. So he's basically saying, listen, I'm moving this guy to the side. Now, it ends with me now. So
now y'all listen to me.
He has to. You listen to me, and if I don't get it done, guess what? There's nobody else to blame at this point. So I guess he's full out the line. Listen, now we're going to find out. Now we're really going to find out. He has no one that really take that kind of pressure. All the pressure is on him. So what he's saying right now is, listen, give me all the pressure. Let me be great. That's what he's saying. Now, if he stinks it up, he can't blame anybody but himself. So you don't want a situation where you have a guy making that kind of money on the side who pretty much wants your job anyway, and now you got this you got this chess match going on all season where is he really trying to help me? Or is he trying to put himself in a better position to get my job?
Or is he trying to undermine me?
Yeah. Exactly. So now you go over here.
I don't think the Nets would have ever considered giving Lawrence Frank that job back, but because like Bielsa said, it was Jason Kidd, who brought him there. They were really close because he used to coach him. They were really, really close. They said, since the start of the season, these guys have had some differences in philosophies. Now, like Jimmy just said, now that he's gotten rid of them, Jason Kidd does have to show and prove more now because he was pointing fingers at Lawrence Frank a little bit. He was basically saying he didn't like how the defense was playing on the team, and the defensive strategy was all put in. The defensive strategy of the team was all put in by Lawrence Frank. So basically, he's doing a Juan Castillo on Lawrence Frank and demoting him to basically scout. Now, I don't know. They said the friction began at the start of the season because their relationship was so tight. But when Jason Kidd, remember, he had to serve that suspension to start the season, the 2 games. And when he went out, he named, even though Lawrence Frank is his top assistant, he named Joe Prunty interim coach while he was gone. And after he came back from the suspension, they allegedly had a blow-up inside of the team facility. So, this has been brewing for a while. And, he's not liking how the defense is playing. So he's going to point that finger at him to buy him a little bit more time and credit. And now he has to show and prove. It's crazy. These guys were tight by all accounts.
If I heard you correctly, they're on the hook for Lawrence Frank for six seasons?
6 seasons.
Yeah, 6 seasons, $6 million is the contract.
So they fire him.
That's not a huge
They fire him. The pressure really going to be on Jason Kidd because it's like, all right, we fired this guy at your behest. They're going to be like, Jim, they're going to be like, we hired him at your behest, we fired him at your behest, but we still got to pay the dude, so you better turn this around.
Yeah, listen, man, Billy King has supported a lot of African-American families in the inner city because of his generosity and giving out contracts. I think he's still paying out George Lynch The Sixers are still paying George Lynch from a contract Billy King wrote years ago. Yo, they
No,
paid Matt,
he gave Kenny Thomas $60 million.
Yo, what did he give Matt Geiger?
And
OMT.
And Dev tried to kill him.
OMT. One move Thomas.
Yo, Billy King has been handing out like all kinds of paper. Every spot he's been in, Billy King makes someone wealthy, man. That's what he does, man. Shout out to Billy King, man, for helping our economy out there. At any rate, man,
infinite wisdom.
we shall see what happens in Brooklyn. Basketball in New York is football right now. The Knicks stink. The Nets stink. But let's go out to La La Land. Kobe Bean Bryant supposedly will be back this Sunday. So the question is, will the Lakers be able to compete in the West?
See, this is a situation where I know the Lakers probably wish they were a part of the Eastern Conference because they would damn sure compete over there. It was interesting because, the reports earlier in the week is where they were going to try to get him back Friday versus the Sacramento Kings, but now he's trying to eye, and they put an emphasis on trying. He's trying to get in that game Sunday against the Toronto Raptors, which is the same team, same franchise. He scored 81 on them, so I guess this would be some kind of dramatic return if Kobe could play against those guys. But as far as
give them 80 again,
the competition level of the Lakers, it's just so hard of a question to answer until we actually, see what Kobe can do when he gets back. So I think that question probably won't be answered until about a month after he's back on the court. If a month's not too late. Because if he stinks, in a month's time, they might be out of the thing altogether.
Here's the thing, right? And I'm a resident Lakers fan. I'm a resident Lakers fan in the war room. The thing is, I'm not even going to lie. I thought this season was going to be completely a waste. When I saw our lineup we had rolled out there, I laughed at them. But they're actually playing better basketball than I thought they would be. They're competing. Mm-hmm. They're winning games they shouldn't. They're competing with teams that they probably shouldn't. But
Jim, like we've been talking about the last few days, man, the league stinks. So bad teams can compete.
But we also know that a lot of times this happens when the best player is not around, and when he comes in, everybody kind of defers to him. They don't play their game. So that all depends upon how the team plays. Do they start like this watching and giving the ball to Kobe, the same way the Bulls do when Derrick Rose plays, or do they try to get in some sort of rhythm? And with that being said, we also know that the West is a lot tougher than the East, like Dev said. So it's going to be difficult, but I think they could sneak into the playoffs or the low seed with the way they're playing basketball now. If he can be anywhere near the player that he once was, I said once was like he hadn't played in 10 years, but as he was before he got injured.
Like he Derrick Rose.
Yeah, he ain't take no Derrick Rose vacation. Derrick Rose get nice vacation.
All right. So you can answer it now?
I can answer it now.
So we can go ahead.
I mean, Bill, the Lakers have fought valiantly. I agree with you, Jimmy. This squad has put up a tremendous fight with my man Jody Meeks at the 2 and some other dude coming off the bench. When Kobe comes back, they're going to watch Kobe Bryant, just like when Superman lands at your house and is going to help lift something up off your mom because she's caught in the street. That's what they're going to watch. They're going to watch Kobe lift that load, and it's going to be all bad, man. It's going to be all bad. It's not going to work out, man. And I'm not saying that as a hater because I'm a Sixers fan. Like, I'm being objective. They're going to watch because they're playing above their talent level right now. They're playing above their level, and they're playing tremendous. They should not be 500. They can't compete with the guys across town, the Clippers. They can't compete with San Antonio. They can't compete with
Clippers overrated.
They are, but they're still better. Portland, it's going to be tough for them. It's going to be real tough for them come springtime.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where that's a possibility in the way they.
And then the haters are going to blame it all on Kobe.
Absolutely. That goes without being said. So even if they win, they're going to say, well, they were playing well before he came back anyway. It kind of doesn't matter. It kind of doesn't matter with Kobe.
He came back and they lost. It was because of him.
You talked about being a Sixers fan, and something happened this past week in the Sixers game that never happened. Michael Carter Williams put up 27, 12, and 10 as a triple-double in the same game. Oladipo, 26, 10, and 10. These are the first pair of rookies to post triple-doubles in the same game. Words of my man O'Shea.
Both of them messed around and got a triple-double. I guess you could say MCW's was more impressive because the team got the win. They both added 3 steals to that as well. So, these are 2 rookies. Probably those 2, along with, like, Ben McLemore, they're probably the front runners already for Rookie of the Year. Speaking of that, Michael Carter Williams and Ben McLemore were named Eastern and Western Conference Rookies of the Year. But Ben McLemore, when you look at his numbers, they're really like rookie coming off the bench type numbers. Carter Williams put up numbers where he could possibly have gotten, NBA Player of the Month if you didn't have like LeBron James in your conference and Paul George in your conference. But these 2 nice young players, man. 2 nice young players.
Have you guys watched much Orlando ball? Oladipo is good. He's very good. He's good. But a Flalo, and Big Baby, shame on himself. They're balling. I think MCW.
Big Baby's out there yam farming and causing ruckus.
No, I was gonna tell you, Bielson, since you brought them up, you brought everybody up. Everybody got off in this game though. Flalo had a career high 43. Big Baby had 33 or 36. Thad Young had 27. Anderson got off for the Sixers.
It was no defense
50,
played. No defense.
50 Turner had 24.
The game was 130 to 127. It looked like one of them.
So it was like a game from the early 80s.
Yeah,
it was double overtime though. It was double overtime.
The old Denver Nuggets and Lakers games when Fat Lee would have 40, 12, and 12.
When they were coached by Doug Moe, and all he wanted to do was run. Doug Moe versus Showtime.
Y'all remember about the old Fat Lever team, man. Fat Lever put up buckets.
So Fat Lever did score. From what I can see from both of these players, I think Oladipo is good and has the ability to maybe be a fringe type of all-star dude, maybe. I think there's talent there. But MCW is special. He's special. He's special, and they're putting a lot of the load on him now. And if he's able to hold up under that pressure, 2-3 years down the line, he's going to be very, very special.
So him and Evan Turner are the future, the light-skinned backcourt. Listen though,
they probably still going to trade Evan Turner.
Probably still right about that. But speaking of Michael Carter Williams,
backcourt is in Golden State, brother.
But, hey, listen, man. Listen to this though. You talk about Michael Carter Williams impressing you. Let's talk about what he does off the court. This is also a story that came out this week.
I love Paul, man.
Can I get a story though? Can I tell a story though?
Story.
I'm just saying I ain't told the story yet, man. Anyway,
young boy.
I know, man. Listen, man, I'm a fan of Michael Carter Williams too, man. He's a nice yellow Libyan brother, man. Paul. But Michael Carter Williams.
I called him an A-Rap.
Michael Carter Williams has been putting his entire NBA salary in a trust fund, and living off of his endorsement money because he doesn't want to be on the next episode of Broke. So he
doesn't want to be the last. He doesn't want to be like the last star point guard from the Sixers.
Listen, man. No AI slander is allowed in the war room, yo. That's like a law.
Oh, you are.
There's 2 people that can't be slandered in the war room. There's Mike Tyson and Allen Iverson, man. Anyway,
Michael Jordan.
We can slander him all day long. With that being said, he puts his entire salary in a trust fund and lives off of his endorsements. What do you think when you heard this story?
Yo, he makes me proud, and I want my son to follow his career.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing about it is he has, his mom is a very responsible woman because this was her idea. She's, I think his mom and maybe his aunt are his managers.
Businessman.
And they've, they set this up for him. I think it's very, very it's a responsible thing to do because these guys make a whole lot of money, and he hasn't even hit the surface of what he's gonna make in the NBA yet. This is his rookie contract we're talking about, and Jimmy, like Jimmy said, he's living off his endorsements, and it's not like he's an endorser like a LeBron James. He's not getting a $90 million contract from Nike or anything like that. So he's basically living. I would say, he's probably just living not like an average NBA player where everything's flashy and everything's expensive. I mean, he's living within means that he's making for himself because he actually has more means than what he's living by. So, I applaud this, seriously, because he's that young. Even though his mother and his aunt set this up as his business manager, he's a 22-year-old. He's a grown man. He has his own career. He could have easily said, "No, I don't want to do this," and there's really nothing they could do about it. Unless unless he's a mama's boy and his mom still beat him. But
22-year-old black males with black mothers, they still say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They fear that self.
Well, the respectful ones do. So I think.
Glory.
We didn't say system. We didn't say system, Mom.
No system, Mom.
They probably had to set up a trust fund for Gloria. In his case, she's probably spending all the money.
Gloria and Ann hang out. And if y'all don't know the Ann I'm talking about, don't worry about it.
And obviously, no slander, man. Come on, man.
Yo, I'm gonna do this.
Listen, man.
That's for MCW, man. That's for MCW.
Yo, man. No Bubba Chuck slander. With that being said, man, let's move on, man. Let's talk some football, yo.
All right, let's go ahead and talk some football real quick. And, of course, NFL Rap is brought to you guys by Stitcher Smart Radio. You can now hear our show, The War Room, on Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher allows you to listen to your favorite shows directly from your computer, your iPhone, Android phone, tablets, Blackberries, Palm phones, whatever you got. The latest episode is always available for you. No syncing needed, no memory or storage wasted. Downloading is easy. Click on the Stitcher logo on our website and listen. Or you can download it to your phone, your mobile phone, directly from that page. Before you do, make sure you enter the promo code, The War Room, one word, for a chance to win a big cash prize. And we know everybody loves a big cash prize. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio. All right, let's get into some NBA. We just finished NBA talk. Let's get into some NFL talk real quick. The big story of the week off the field, even though it happened on the field, Mike Tomlin, of course, with the sideline interference in last week's game versus the Baltimore Ravens. It's been discussed ad nauseum, what happened, his apology, and the fact that they fined him $100,000, but taking draft picks are still on the table for the NFL. They're basically waiting for the draft order. I really don't understand that point because I'm assuming they're waiting because if it's a high draft pick, if Pittsburgh loses out and they just stink the rest of the season, are they really going to take a draft pick from, a charter franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah,
I don't think so. So that's why I think they're waiting. And the reason why I think the punishment wasn't harsher than it already was with the $100K is because I don't think they can prove intent on this because he's adamantly denying that he did it intentionally. Wow, myself, personally, I don't believe him for 1 New York minute. I think, I don't think the league could have gone any further because at this point it's his word against theirs. He doesn't have a history of doing crazy things. So you can't prove his intent. You can't prove what a lot of us already know, that it was intentional. So,
hey, listen, man.
I think they should stay there. I think draft picks would be an egregious punishment. I don't think they need to do that.
He said he didn't do it on purpose. Man, come on, man. FOH. You and I know what's going on, Mike Tomlin. That's the first thing, man. Second thing, man, Mike Tomlin, it was just so hilarious because it looked like, anybody listening that has been to a black barbecue, you know that when the song comes on, everybody gets up and dances. Slide to the left. My man was out there doing a
Shot
cha-cha
real
slide.
smooth now. Shot
They got
real
caught.
smooth now.
Yo, everybody clap your hands. But listen, though. But he got caught, and then he gave you the smile. And come on, man. You and I know what's going on. That's the bottom line.
Yo, he tried to say he was smiling because the crowd, after they showed it on the big board 6 times, they started laughing at him. I mean, they started booing him and stuff like that. But I'm like, it looked like you smirked a little before that, homie.
In terms of the punishment, this is egregious because you made yourself part of the game. Is it the worst thing that happened? Because I started thinking about this. When you compare what he did to, say, Bill Belichick, who cheated the entire system and won Super Bowls doing so, or you talk about with, the Saints coach, what he did in terms of being responsible for a program which put money on cats' heads. I mean, the NFL is out of control. One, when you think about all them stories, like, NFL's out of control.
Yeah, you got coaches spying with cameras.
You got coaches
putting bounties on heads. You got coaches jumping out on the field trying to trip dudes.
You ain't trying. So if you had to rank those 1, 2, 3, where would you rank them at in terms of egregious? What's the most egregious act and what's the least egregious act?
I would go
the
Belichick.
most egregious is the Belichick thing because it attacks the integrity of the game, of the entire game, and you don't know how many games they did that in or how long. Hold
on. So putting your foot and trying to really tackle somebody in there, that's not the integrity of the game.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jimmy. It's bad. It's bad, but people don't understand. Jacoby Jones is getting lost in all of this story. The only reason Jacoby Jones is in the league is because he's fat. So you're supposed to outrun Mike Tomlin's attempt, man.
Yo, Mike Tomlin's ahead of you putting his foot out, though.
Yo, jump over that and keep going, man.
So be awesome. Where do you rank? Where do you rank the other two? What's second and third?
Second is the bounty because second is the bounty.
Okay.
And the only reason I put that second is because while it is egregious, it's a part of the culture of football, and I don't know if you'll ever remove that. And then third would be Thomas.
See, I might have a bounty last, a third, just because of the same argument you just made.
I would go bounty last too.
Because of the same argument. But he got
Tomlin
for a whole
made
year.
himself. He could have hurt somebody. I mean, I know in a bounty you could hurt somebody too, but really they were getting paid to do things.
The point of a bounty is to hurt.
But they were getting paid to do things that they would have done anyway. So they were just giving them more incentive to play hard, for real.
When you really
I'm
think
not
about
saying
it,
I'm not saying it's right, but they were giving them more incentive to do what they wanted them to do anyway.
Exactly. Dad, when you get paid by your team, aren't they literally paying you a bounty to go hurt someone anyway?
If you're a defender,
that's what football is.
If you're a defender, if you're on defense, your paycheck is a bounty.
Exactly.
You hit people every day. So I'm not excusing it. I'm not excusing it. With them giving them extra money to do that. I put it on the egregious list, but I will put it last because this dude actually made himself a part of it. He was on the field. There's no excuse for being on the field. I know in every sport, basketball coaches, they drift out onto the court. Football people drift out onto the outside of the white lines where they're not supposed to be. But that white line over there is so thick, like there's no excuse for you to actually be on the field unless you're trying to do something. And I just think, that's the name of this episode anyway. Coaches, coaching by any means necessary, and that's what he was doing.
And with that being said,
by any means necessary.
Any means necessary. And Mike Tomlin, listen, man, you one of the only Libyan coaches we got in the league. You got to be careful, good brother, because they offer you anyway. And
that'll be his.
You better be lucky that Baltimore won the game. You better be lucky Baltimore won that game because you would have gotten lynched, literally.
Real quick. Now that you brought that up, Jimmy, if they end up taking a draft pick or draft picks from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Would be corny.
Do you think
that would be corny?
Yeah, it would be corny, but the fact that he is one of the few black head coaches in the league, do you think he survives that? Do you think if it goes that far and he hurts the franchise like that, do you think he's built up enough credit in Pittsburgh for them to look the other way and keep him on as head coach, or do you think this, ruins him? Maybe his career because they don't get that many chances.
I mean, it's kind of like he becomes synonymous with this. He's writing his own history as he goes along. I don't know, because Pittsburgh is such a storied franchise. It's one of the marquee franchises in football. Now, of course, he does have success there as a coach, and that has to count for something. But even with that success, you see him get slighted now anyway. They say that he won with Cowher's team. You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
But
and they're one of those franchises that try to act like the model franchise at all times. So they mess around and try to make an example, even though they still got don't say nothing, just give it here at quarterback.
Absolutely. I mean, their quarterback takes the image. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's also a situation where, I mean, the rule to hire minority coaches is named what? The Rooney Rule. So I don't know. I don't think he survived it, to be honest with you. I mean, especially the team's not playing up to their standards anyway.
Right. So not now. Yeah. You're saying if it affects the franchise, like in draft picks.
If it affects the franchise, I'm not saying right now. If he was to somehow lose draft picks or something, it would become bigger than what it is. If it just stays at what it is, I think he's fine. But if it gets bigger, and when they say they want to wait to see the draft order, that really is stupid. Because let's just say they lose out and get the first pick of the draft, like somehow, possibly. Do you not still find them because they have a top pick? What do you do?
It's going to go away. They're not going to take a high pick from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh makes a run and gets like a middle of the pack draft, and then when it's all said and done, they might still take a draft pick, but they might take like a 6th rounder or something like that, just to say that they did something. But it's really them not having any kahunas after all the threats.
On Twitter, we got a comment that says Pittsburgh has 3 coaches in 30 years. So he's going to say Mike Tomlin is the first Libyan coach out of all of them. So that's a complete different story. And it's also a new ownership from it's the kids now. So things change. Talk to the Yankees about that. But anyway.
Yo, being down with Gaddafi could be dangerous. That is a good point. That is a good point. I think he stays. I don't think one draft pick, unless it's
the first rounder.
You take a number 1 from a team that didn't play up to their standards. I don't know. But like I said, I don't think in any way it would be a number 1 anyway. They're gonna take
I don't think so either. But the NFL, out of all the sports, they value their draft picks more so than any other sport. Like a 3rd rounder in the NFL is my goal. You talk about a 3rd rounder in the NBA and nobody gives. You know what I'm saying? But in the NFL, a 3rd rounder is like a big thing. So the NFL
because they're gonna
that would be in the NBA because there is no 3rd round. But
because what NFL teams do, they always look at somebody from that round and want to compare, like we could have had, the next such and such. Like if Nick Foles keeps doing what he's doing, they're going to point out he was a 3rd rounder. Like, we can get lucky in the 3rd round.
Do you remember the NBA draft? You used to have like 8-10 rounds.
Yeah, I remember when it was. I remember
that was stupid.
It's a couple
they
of
drafted a new team every year.
In like the 10th round.
You draft a new team every year in the NBA.
Yeah, more or less. Anyway, but it's like 2 rounds now, so you're right about that. But I'm just saying, in terms of how they value picks, it's completely different. Even the 2nd round pick in the NBA these days is like, who gives?
Yeah. I mean, that's why you can tell they value picks. That's why like superstars get traded for picks.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm just saying that even if they lose a 2nd round pick, it's still maybe a little shaky considering what he did. But I think that overall he'll be safe. The team has been playing better, even though they lost that game. Because in the beginning of the season, it looked terrible. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's get off the topic.
I blame Troy Polamalu's hair.
Oh yeah, and they said the officials from that game might get downgraded because they didn't throw a penalty on the play. And that is a great question. Like, how did they not throw a penalty when the coach is standing on the field and has to slide out of the way, not to come in contact with dude? That's an automatic penalty. Like, how do you not get penalized?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Mike Tomlin, I think Mike Tomlin holds a little bit more weight than most other Libyans.
Listen, man, they miss calls every day, B. You understand? Rico voice. They miss calls every day. Anyway, but
bring back the replacement officials.
Does that mean he can't do like Monday night games no more? Like, what do they mean when they say he's downgraded?
I don't know. They might
They
not
put him up in
get
the booth.
playoff games or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Y'all can move on to the next thing. I'll look it up.
No doubt. Listen, man, another thing that recently happened was the Seattle Sea Chickens, as we used to call them, but I don't think we can call them that no more, B. Austin. We can't call them the Sea Chickens.
Yeah.
Because
can't disrespect the Legion of Boom like that.
The way they're playing football right now, they may be the best team in the NFL. I know they're a well-rounded team in terms of defense, offense, and special teams. I don't think no one has all three units as solid as Seattle. It's funny because I was talking to Fred Perdue of Heavy Into Games on Monday, and he was like getting excited for the game. Drew Brees is going to do this, and Drew Brees is going to do that. Yo, Drew Brees didn't do diddly poo. He didn't do diddly poo.
Drew Brees did not blow. Pause.
Yo, he didn't do anything, and Seattle dominated that game. So my question to you is this: are they the real deal? I mean, because coming into the season, everybody was on a Niners
define real deal.
Real deal? Can they win the entire thing?
Can they? I think that they're one of the. I think they're one of the top 4 legitimate contenders. In that, yeah, they're a legitimate contender. I don't believe they will, because even as good as they are, they're not without their flaws, and we can talk about their flaws if you'd like. But they're a great team. They're definitely a great team amongst this
year. Put it like this: if I had to tell you to give me 5 teams right now, the top 5 teams with legitimate chances of being the Super Bowl champions, just give me the top 5 teams right now. Who would those 5 teams be?
It would definitely be your team. It would be.
Who's his team, man? You got thousands of people listening.
Yeah, Broncos. It would be my Denver Broncos.
The Broncos. I believe you have to give respect to Kansas City. They're going through some trials and tribulations, but you got to give respect to them.
What?
You got 3 more left.
Patriots.
Patriots is 3.
Patriots. The Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And who's my NFC? I wanted to before Sunday or before Thursday I'd have said the Saints, but
everybody gets smacked once in a while.
I know it's one game, man, one game. But hold on,
everybody gets smacked once in a while.
He's having trouble with his 5. Dev, I told you to give me a top 5 right now that could win the ball. Who would your 5 be?
Shoot, and while you playing them Saints, that might be what they needed to do what they got to do. I would go Denver, Seattle probably at number 2 because they're likely, because if they're going to get that home, they're going to get that home field throughout. I'm not really ranking them either.
They
get that home field throughout, then they have a great chance. I still give the 49ers a shot at it. Kaepernick has to play better, of course. Let's see, 2 more.
The Niners were my honorable mention.
I would still go Saints, and even though I'm not ranking them in that 5, Carolina Panthers would be the 5th. Even if I were ranking them, they would still be the 5th.
You didn't include the Patriots at all. The Chiefs I can see even out. But you didn't include the Patriots either. Okay, interesting. That's interesting.
No, the Patriots are the
Patriots are a testament to Belichick and Tom Brady. Like, really, honestly.
They're a testament to consistency. They're a testament to consistency, B. Austin, but I still think that, as of late, I think the Patriots don't get it done in big moments where they actually have a reputation for getting it done in big moments. I think that's long gone. I think that's long gone.
It's too much pressure on Tom Brady. I would even say that Peyton Manning knows a little bit about this, and it's not even that Brady's not clutch or not going to come through. It's that he has carried so much throughout the course of a year. When they get into those big moments, especially playoff-type moments, and other people have to step up and make a big play, he's the equalizer, and it shows. The weakness shows up. Kenbrell Tompkins and Dobson, they're not good.
Here's the thing, though.
They're not good.
You just said that you basically just put the Chiefs in your top 5. That's kind of shocking to me that you would put the Chiefs up there and leave a team like the Saints and the Panthers off. That's kind of interesting, man.
I actually included the Saints. I include the Saints. I give an honorable mention to the Niners, which would be my 6th team. I don't believe in the Panthers. I don't believe in the Panthers.
Not
Okay.
as a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I think they're a
I
good
respect
team.
that. I respect that. It is what it is. It is what it is. When you think about it, though, when you guys both gave me a 5, my 5 would be similar. Mine would be the Broncos. It would be of course the Saints. It would be, I wouldn't put Carolina there yet, but I definitely would put the Sea Chickens. I can't call them the Sea Chickens. I'm sorry, the Seahawks there. I probably would still include the Patriots because I'm sort of like Dev is when it comes to the Falcons, yo. Like they got Tom Brady and Belichick, so they just gotta be there. And who else am I missing? Because mine is similar to yours. You also except I don't have the Chiefs. I have the Saints as opposed to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And but with that being said, here's my point in even asking you this question. We all have Seattle. Dev made the point that I was going to make, which is if they get home field, which looks likely because now Carolina and the Saints are the only two teams that can probably catch them, but they have a 2-game lead over both of those teams. It is very difficult to play in Seattle. Even when Seattle wasn't even that good of a team, it was difficult to play in Seattle. They have a legit home field advantage. I think they somehow cheat. They be pumping in crowds. But they do, because it's too crazy, man, but they do have a legit home field advantage. And when you look at the teams in the NFC, even the good teams like the Niners or the Saints and the Cowboys and Eagles are fighting for that division, who can go into Seattle with them having a bye?
Nobody. No,
and that's
nobody.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, who can go in there with them probably having a bye
Nobody.
and get a dub?
Unless,
go.
Because I forgot who I was listening to, but somebody said that they think that Seattle may have peaked too early because they're thinking that Monday night game is the absolute best that team could play, and they're thinking they may not be able to get it to that level again, throughout the season. But like you guys just said, it's hard to go into that stadium and win a game. It's just
but you know what?
Two challenges.
And no one talks about that in terms of football. No one talks about that in terms of football when teams peak because teams peak at different times. I honestly believe that with my Broncos last year, I think we peaked too early. When we were going into the playoffs, we weren't playing our best football. Our best football was played a couple weeks before then. So I can totally see that happening. Like, teams do peak at different times, and but that being said, there's still a good team.
The counter for me to peaking in a pass-happy league is a commitment to defense and the running game. And I think that Seattle understands who and what they are offensively. And while Russell Wilson makes great decisions, they don't put too much on his shoulders in terms of throwing the ball because they have a beast behind him. So they get the ball to their playmakers. They utilize Russell Wilson in a manner in which they don't ask him to do too much because he's a young quarterback. And so I think that bodes well. I think that bodes well for them. I think that if there is a time where their defense gives up points, if they ever have a game where their defense allows a lot of points to be scored, now my question is, can Russell Wilson take it upon his shoulders and throw the ball well enough to be in a high-scoring contest? That's the question that I have. Because I don't think he can. And that's not a knock on him. I'm not knocking him to say he's not a good quarterback.
I mean, he has done it this year. They got him a shootout. I don't know who they were playing. Believe it or not, I think it may have been like the Vikings or something. But anyway, he can put numbers up. Like, he has done it. But with that being said, I get your point.
Doesn't count, Jimmy.
I get your point. I totally get your point there. That's why I'm not going to count.
You sound like the Nick Foles detractors, be awesome. Certain teams
don't
count.
I don't want to count the Saints out yet, man. But there are Nick Foles detractors who talk about how he's not putting up numbers against good teams. Speaking of that, Dan, what do you guys think about this new movement starting? And it's a movement starting all over everywhere. In Philadelphia online, Nick Foles for MVP. They're putting his name in the discussion amongst Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Nick Foles.
That sounds crazy. Sound crazy, though. No, go ahead. You got it.
I'm a fan. I'm enjoying the success. I'm enjoying the moment. For those of you that don't know, Devin and I are staunch, die-hard Eagles fans, and we have died hard. We died hard in 2004 in the Super Bowl with throw up in our lap. But Nick Foles, man, I'm impressed. With all that being said, I'm a realist. And I understand that he's probably going to have some setbacks. He's probably not as good as the wave that's coming in and taking him to the top and allowing his name to be mentioned with all-time greats. I don't think he's legitimately an MVP contender. I don't even think it should be brought up until the end of the season to see how he does over the course of these next 4 games. If we're successful for some reason, which I don't believe we'll win out, I don't believe that, but if we were to win out and he was the catalyst for us winning out, then I believe you could kind of give him a true mention. I don't think he should win it, not at all. But he's playing at historic levels, and I think that he is demonstrating he's a great snap decision maker, which is one of the things that I think people who watch the game of football don't understand about playing the quarterback position. It's not about arm strength. It's not about athleticism primarily. It's about your decision making, being able to make great decisions very quickly, process information, read coverages, pre-snap, post-snap, and be accurate. Those are the 3 things you need. You don't need a strong arm. You don't need to run fast. You don't need all of the things that you see on the ESPN Sports Center. And Nick Foles has those 3 elements in his game.
Well, see, B. Austin, I actually think that his inclusion in the conversation right now is legitimate because he is the catalyst of a turnaround so far in Philadelphia. See, but MVP is the type of thing where, it's judged on a weekly basis because, like you said, if the Eagles win out, then his candidacy will become even stronger. If the Eagles lay an egg over the next few weeks, then he will drop out of the conversation. But right now, as we stand, week 14 or wherever we are, you have to, but he's won 5 out of those 6 games. The Eagles weren't really, nobody looked at them as being playoff contenders earlier in the season. He's come in and basically been the leader of turning the fortunes of that team around so far. Now, I agree with you. There's no way in hell do I think he would win the award because, first of all, I don't think anybody has a leg up on Peyton Manning right now. But just to be in the discussion, I think that's legitimate. I mean, the guy has – you're saying he has 6 games, but in 6 games he's thrown more touchdowns than a lot of the quarterbacks in the NFL. Has 19 touchdown passes, 21 touchdowns overall, no interceptions yet on the season. I think it's legitimate. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that, he will consistently after this year play at an MVP level, but you have to give him his props now. Just like Michael Vick was in the MVP conversation, he was actually like top 2 or 3 in 2010 because he came in and gave the Eagles that lightning in a bottle, and he's been basically garbage ever since. So, I mean, it happens. I think he's just playing at an MVP level right now, not saying that he's a legitimate, consistent MVP type of player.
I gave you my case as to what I see in him as a quarterback, and it's debatable as to him as an MVP, but him as an overall quarterback, those 3 elements that I see give me reason for hope, give me reason to say that I'm a fan of his. What are your thoughts, Jimmy? Because you watched a little bit of Foles.
Yeah, I think that he's playing well. I don't think he should win the award at all. But I think
not even come close. Not even come close.
Yeah, I think just being mentioned is a sign of respect, and it's something that he should, really, really appreciate to even be mentioned amongst those guys. Because
definitely.
When you read the list, it just reads hilarious. It's like Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and
not even like Drew. All right, Gil Brandt, who I believe has a vote. He's senior writer for NFL.com. He has a 6-person list, and in no order, his list is Russell Wilson, Nick Foles, Peyton Manning, Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly. Carolina has 2 candidates, and Calvin Johnson out in Detroit. And then he has his also worth mentioning Jamal Charles, LaShawn McCoy, Adrian Peterson, J.J. Watt. But J.J. Watt, they stink, so I don't even know why he's worth mentioning. Not that he isn't playing. No, not that he isn't playing on that level, but
it's not affecting wins.
It's not affecting wins. It's definitely affecting losses. And then he has at the bottom a section where he says why we didn't mention, and he has Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Tony Romo. He said he didn't mention Tom Brady because while the Patriots are winning, Brady has had an off year with a completion percentage of 60.7, approaching his career low of 60.2. I beg to differ with that because I wouldn't say it's all about numbers. Playing with the guys that he's playing with, I would, have Brady higher up in the discussion. Drew Brees, he says he's a heck of a player, but I don't think he's been playing as well this season he has before. He also seems to fall off a bit when he's not in the Superdome. Saints are 3-3 on the road and 11-11 going back to 2011. And then he says Tony Romo, the bottom line is his Cowboys have just 7 wins and have failed to separate themselves from the pack in the NFC East. Now, the Eagles only have 7 wins as well, but I think that's the thing. They're just looking at the Eagles as a turnaround story, and you're asking why they're turning around, and the face that you see the most in this turnaround has to be Nick Foles. So, I see why he's in the conversation.
I respect his list. I respect his list for not being quarterback-centric. I like that. I like the respect he gave to Luke Kuechly, because Luke Kuechly don't get enough mention. Yo, that's a bad white boy.
He doesn't. Let me ask you guys a question.
Last year.
We got a couple more topics real quick, but we got a question that was asked to us. Every week we do our show, and there's always people doing idiotic things in the world of sports. So, gentlemen, we've been asked who wins the JoJo of the Week award. So, be awesome. Who would you give your JoJo award to this week after all the stories that we talked about?
Oh, that's easy, and I apologize for us not getting to that earlier. It's a gentleman we didn't mention, and I don't mention him because he's a coon, but Adrian Broner.
Adrian Broner? Why?
What did he do this week?
Just
which one?
Me and him? He's going to give it to him every week.
Me and him. The specific story is Floyd Mayweather has a side piece, and the side piece allegedly is now dating Ray J. So Adrian Broner is all over social media in another man's business, riding on Floyd Johnson, coming at Ray J because Ray J did what Ray J does.
Now, Dad,
who would you give your
vote to, Dad?
I have to give my vote to Mike Tomlin for, insulting my intelligence and trying to tell me he didn't step on the field on purpose. So my JoJo of the Week award goes to Mike Tomlin.
I think we have a winner, yo. I think this week, right, our JoJo award will go to Mike Tomlin because he also gets that. You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself. Mike Tomlin, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm sensing some bias because y'all have come to expect Broner to be a JoJo every week.
That's
he could be
a candidate. He's always going to be a candidate for the JoJo.
We're doing, upcoming is like the end of the year show. He might be the JoJo of the year, so he still has some big awards to win.
He might be the JoJo of the year award.
Yo, but Jimmy, that soundbite is so harsh. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself the way you carry yourself. It's like, damn. That's like personal down to the bone gristle. Like,
JoJo is going hard, yo. He's talking about the black man.
The way you carry yourself.
Listen, man. Last topic that we touch on before we get out of here is this, man. The Green Bay Packers have been, in the words of the great Joe, Broadway Joe, they have been struggling. But Aaron Rodgers wants to play on Sunday. So the question is, can he save the Packers because they're still not out of it?
You got it.
No one wants to. What do you think, man?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no at this point. And I believe in Aaron Rodgers as a top 4 quarterback in the universe, but not coming back off that injury. You don't know how responsive he will be to his healing and rehab. Is he going to be able to step right back in and be Aaron Rodgers? Now, granted, anything will be better than Tolzien and Flynn, but I just don't think we'll get the same Aaron Rodgers we're used to, and that's what Green Bay would need to make up the ground.
Well, for me, I don't know. But see, the thing is, nobody's really running away with it. Detroit's not running away with it. Chicago didn't run away with it. So I think there's still a chance, man. I know Aaron Rodgers ruined one of my fantasy teams. I'm in a couple leagues. In one of my leagues, he completely ruined my season. So FOH to the Packers. I'm more worried about my season that he ruined. But I think it may be too late. I think Detroit will probably win the division. Dev, do you think he can make any difference?
I don't know. Detroit's 6-6, are they? Oh no, I'm sorry. Chicago's 6-6, and Chicago and Detroit is 7-5. They're like a game and a half behind the Detroit Lions.
It's not over. It's not over.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
I think. I mean, the team definitely stinks without him, but we've all seen what they can do with the same talent with him on the field. I think that you can throw him out there. I mean, you want to worry about his future because this is a guy that you're paying $100 million to, and you want him for a little longer than just this season. And I hear a collarbone is something that's easy to re-break. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm trying to find the rest of their schedule. They got Atlanta, they got Dallas, they got Pittsburgh, and they got Chicago. I think they could. I think you take the chance, man.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a career-ending injury. If he does hurt it again, if he gets hurt again, season over, you try again next year. But I think you throw him out there this week.
Y'all act like Atlanta ain't in America. They don't give a fuck. Anyway, listen, man. Thanks for joining us to get in the war room, good folks. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, those on Facebook, Twitter, all the callers who called in to holler at us. We appreciate those calls we didn't get to. We apologize. We'll be back next week. Shout out to Fred Perdue of Heavy in the Game to come talk some college sports with us. Tune in next week, same time, same place for another episode of your favorite sports show and podcast. We'll have a ton of conversation from you from all around the world of sports and beyond. So enjoy your sports week. We'll see you right back here next time. Don't forget, Facebook.com/WarrenSports, Twitter.com/WarrenSports, WarrenSportsTV.com for our video content. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity and be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
Rest in peace, my diva.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. It's knocked out. 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, TJ, Doc Bay, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
Wait, it's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table, 5 Philly